Hi, it's Talking Reds. I'm Josh Sexton, joined today by my wee mate Craig Hannan. It's been a while since we've done one of these together.
No, I've been drafted in late here. No preparation whatsoever. Lizzie Doyle, I think,
failed
is a
the
bit
late
ill.
fitness test.
And it's her birthday today, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
I've
I've just remembered on camera. Someone on camera.
Happy birthday, Lizzie.
If you're watching.
She will be watching. Happy birthday, Lizzie.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, the Reds are playing Porto tonight. It's another massive Champions League tie at Anfield. And Craig, I suppose we'll start off with the slightly bad news going into this one is that Andy Robertson, obviously with his red card late on in the Bayern game, is suspended for it. I've seen a bit kicking around about maybe the potential of Moreno starting, which I've got to be honest, with the uncertainty of an away goal is worrying me completely.
I'd kind of forgotten that he was still kicking about, to be honest. We haven't seen him in so long. I think, look, we shouldn't underestimate Porto based on what happened last year. I think they'll be seeking revenge. There's no way they let us hammer them this time, especially in the first leg. Maybe it's just because the Champions League this season feels like more fun to me in terms of it feels like a relief from the league. Feels like all of the stresses and the strains of the games that are going on, the Spurs game, the Southampton with Chelsea coming up, that I'm just excited to enjoy this one. And so for that reason, I'm not massively concerned that Alberto Moreno will play. The bit I'm concerned about is that he'll be coming in from the cold and he'll have hardly played any. He hasn't played any first team football. I don't know whether he's been kicking about in the under 23s, getting a game there. I'm not sure. I think that we didn't see very much from Porto last year in terms of what they offered going forwards. So for that reason, I'm not massively concerned. I think I know some people have talked about playing Milner there, but I think Milner's going to be playing so much football over the next sort of few weeks in the run into the season that I think if either we use him in midfield or we don't use him and we keep him for the weekend, I think Moreno has to start. I don't really see any other option really. What do you think?
Well, I think I'd probably rather Milner started just for the sort of certainty of it. I think this first leg is one where if Porto do get that away goal, it could become a bit hairy back at their place. So I'd be more inclined to be starting Milner. But I think if the one thing that you're wanting from the game is fun, then Alberto Moreno probably guarantees you that.
No, I'm not saying
walking his dog or something.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want Moreno in this for fun. It's not fun seeing him
loads of karate kick tackles.
What I just mean is there's loads of really important football coming up over the next month or two, and I think that Milner's going to be playing loads of football, and I think that I think he will. Just going by the way Klopp is, I think he will start Moreno at left back, and he might even use Milner in centre midfield as well after his performance coming off the bench. We'll see.
Yeah, I was reading the club's injury report on their official website this morning, and they usually have the names in bold, so you can sort of skip the excess information and just get to the key bits. And three of the names I had in bold were Wijnaldum, Matip, and Van Dijk, and I was like, oh god. but they're all knocks, and apparently they're all okay, so that's good. But there's Joe Gomez to think about as well. Apparently the club have sort of got to a state with him where they're going to be a bit careful about him, and they're not going to think about him for a few weeks. So you'd imagine in terms of the defence beyond Robbo, it would be Trent starting, Matip and Van Dijk again.
I think that's really sensible with Gomez. I think that it'd just be a little bit unfair for it to throw him back in so quickly and sort of us all to expect the Joe Gomez that sort of left us injured in December. I think he was brilliant before he got injured, but we can't expect him after what is it now, 4 months or something now he's been out. That's a long time from just to go straight back in. And I think that there's loads of debate around Matip and whether he's good enough, and how good he has been whilst Joe Gomez has been out and whilst Lovren's been out and whilst he's had to take that place. And I think he's been all right. I think he's done a job. We're still this is the quarterfinal of the Champions League. We're top of the league. So it's he's done a good enough job in there, and I think he'll continue to stay until Gomez is just exactly right. But what a lovely little boost that would be in the run into the season to have Joe Gomez knocking about as well. Yeah,
and one of the other names within that injury report was Adam Lallana, who seems to have picked up one of these little muscle injuries again. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it, really, because we talk about Adam Lallana a lot and his injury record, but he sort of seemed like he was over the worst of it again for Liverpool, and he'd put in a positive performance in one of the games a couple of months ago at Anfield, but now it sort of seems like the tide could turn against him again quite easily.
It does, doesn't it? I think, I feel a little bit sorry for him in that, exactly what you said last month when he played a bit of football. I was thinking, here we go. I'm trying to think what the game was. Was it Burnley, where he starts.
Remember, to be honest.
I think it was Burnley where he starts, and everyone's a bit like Lallana, and he was great. And there was talk of him them starting against Bayern Munich, and he's a good option to have around there, and he's one that Klopp trusts, and has trusted since he came in as manager of Liverpool. It's a shame this happens so much during Adam Lallana's career. I'd love to know how many days of his Liverpool career has he been injured and how many days has he been available, because it must be up there with Sturridge. And I know Sturridge's been available loads, it's just that he's not getting the start, he's not getting a go. But with Lallana, it seems to be that every time his name's within the frame, or people are talking about, right, he could start this weekend, he doesn't, because he's got a little strain. They're more annoying than the big injuries, aren't they? Because at least you know that he's going to be out for this long or whatever. But with Lallana, it seems to be, he picks up a knock here, picks up a knock here. It's the same with Lovren as well. And these are a couple of players that you can't really rely on, I don't think. And I think that sort of gives Klopp a bit of a... Well, he'll need to think about it in the summer about what he does with Alan Lallana, because I know he likes him as a footballer, but if you can't sort of look to him when you need him, or every time you do he's injured, he's got a little strain or he's got a knock or whatever, then what's the point?
I suppose the one good thing in that sense is that we've got the midfield options, and you've sort of seen in the last two games that maybe Klopp's not quite got the midfield right at first, or maybe it's been sort of a bit lacklustre within the game, but then he's been able to bring midfielders on to change the game. You think about Fabinho coming on against Spurs and changing up. Henderson was absolutely unreal after he came on against Southampton. Which sort of combination of them would you start? I know you were saying before maybe Henderson and Fabinho would be two of your choices.
I want to see Henderson as an 8, and I know I think Henderson said in the Sky Sports interview about him speaking to Klopp and about him saying that he can play there, and that's he comes on, you see him as this box to box midfield. He was like a man possessed the other night, and I'm not one of these people that massively love Jordan Henderson, but I don't hate him either. I'm not giving him abuse online or whatever. I think
you're rational.
Thanks, Josh. No, but I think he's a good footballer to have about the squad, and he showed that the other night. He showed what he can do in that number 8 position. And look, I love Fabinho, and I think he had a difficult time the other night, but I think he had a difficult time because of the two he was playing alongside. I didn't think he got any help from them whatsoever. And so I'd like Fabinho and Henderson, because I know Henderson will muck in and help him in there.
Third one's tough.
Wijnaldum,
if he's got a knock, then I think it's probably time for him to get a bit of a rest.
I think so, and I think he's maybe been carrying a knock, and that's off nothing more than watching his performances over the last month, because they haven't been up to the sort of calibre that they were sort of pre-February, pre-March time, I think. I wonder if he goes... do you know what? I'm not sure. I'd like him to go with Keita just to try and sort of... he got the goal. Try and get him on some sort of momentum personally as a footballer at Liverpool, because he hasn't really had that. And any time he's sort of put in a decent performance, puts in one against Bournemouth, and we're all going, oh, here we go. And then it's like, he maybe doesn't play the next few, and I don't know how much Klopp trusts him at this stage of the season at such a pivotal time. I think he'd probably go with the players that he does trust and that he knows, whether that's Wijnaldum or it's a Milner in there, I'm not sure, but I quite like Fabinho, Henderson and Keita just to see how they can all build on the performances against Southampton.
And the front three, as always, you'd imagine picks itself, and it was really good seeing Salah get that goal, against Southampton, because particularly given the sort of circumstances of it, when he's running forward and everyone's screaming at him to pass it, and the way he finishes it feels like that was the break glass moment for Salah now, where he can go on and pick up a bit of score and run, and hopefully Mane can sustain his as well while that's going on, and then Firmino sort of chipping in.
I want to know in the comments how many times everyone's watched that Salah goal or the Henderson one, or just the crowd celebrating, or any aspect of that football match, because for a football match that I'd say about 75% of it, I fucking hated watching it. Do you know what I mean? It just wasn't an enjoyable football match whatsoever, and that's because of what's on the line. It's because of how we played, probably for the majority of it, for at least sort of 60-65 minutes. But that last sort of 10 minutes, or the clips from the last 10-15 minutes, the Salah goal, just like a celebration. It was pure Man City away in the Champions League last year, wasn't it? 5 celebrations in one, and I'm delighted for him. At a perfect time for him now to kick on. And it's funny whenever you watch the interviews and stuff on, whether it's Sky after both the last 2 games, after the Spurs game, after the Southampton game, you see him you see him so relaxed when Carragher's talking to him and saying, like, you know, you haven't scored that many, but, you know, you've played a big part in the Spurs goal. How you feel? And he was like, you know, people are saying that I'm having this terrible season when I'm like two goals behind the top goal scorer in the Premier League, and that's the levels he's set himself based on last year. And you know, I'd love nothing more than for him just to start, you know, just hammer them all in and win the Golden Boot, because that would sort of quieten a lot of people and a lot of doubters, and that's the thing that I'm most happy about, is that he gets that goal, the manner of the goal, how big the goal is, but that he's just so calm and so relaxed about it all, and saying, let everyone else talk, and I'll let my goals and I'll let my football do the talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited for the game now tonight. I can't wait to get in amongst it at Anfield later. We're going to have loads more build up on the Anfield wrap throughout the day. We also had our Under the Light show, which went out yesterday. Here's a little clip from that.
Klopp knows that Porto are not going to want, they're going to want revenge basically from last year, because it was an embarrassment to get beat 5-0 at your own ground. It's something that sticks in the craw, and if Liverpool ever got beat 5-0 in a European game, it'd be a game that'd be remembered for the rest of the time. You'd never be able to shake it off, so they've probably got that in them. I think they've improved since last year as well, so our whole game plan should be to get a victory, I think. But by the same token, it doesn't feel like, when we get to 70 minutes in a league game, if it's 0-0, it feels like it's going to come. I think in this one, if it was still 0-0 going over there, I'd have no worries really. I think with a team that can constantly go over there and do a job if it needs to be done, I don't think it'll come to that. I think we probably will get a win, but it's important that we don't let them score first, because if they do, they could shut up shop on a proper European performance, and as Mike said before, a defeat at Anfield, you don't want anything to derail them. Do you know what I mean? This should just be another point in our season where we say, yeah, look how good this team's becoming. We don't want anything to start thinking, oh well, they've managed to do this to them, or they've managed to do that. We don't want to give any chinks or weakness away. So just go out, do a professional job, and get the win we need.
I mean, Bayern, Paddy, showed the kind of problems that come from not getting an away goal. They came to Anfield for an old-fashioned 0-0, thought that was sound, and then obviously got turned over on their own ground. Did you think that'll be playing on Porto's mind a little bit? Because I'm sure they'll want to be hard to beat, but they've got to do a little bit of attacking, haven't they? Because they're going to have to come out eventually, and this Liverpool team is so dangerous on the break, so much attacking quality, that I think Porto would be sort of slightly, you know, foolish, if you like, not to at least have a go at getting that away goal.
Yeah, I agree about that. I think they have got it. I think that nowadays you don't look at a 0-0 away as a good result anymore. And I think picking up on what Kev said about them wanting to come and get revenge, I think more than revenge in a way, because it'd be a tough task for them to come and turn us over like we did last year. I think they just want to probably put on a performance. Yeah. I mean, that first leg last year, we scored 2 goals, I think in about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden they're chasing the game, and it allows us to go and get some on the break and make it 5-0, and then they come to Anfield in a virtually non-event. So how are they supposed to represent themselves and show what they're capable of? So I think tomorrow might be more difficult, because they'll come to Anfield wanting not people to think, oh, this is the easy draw. They want to show Europe that, listen, we're Porto, we're a good side, and we can do this at Anfield. So I think you might see a bit more from them tomorrow than we're expecting. Yeah,
like a really good show. That I'm really interested to give that a listen before I get down
all
to
the big hitters. I think it's probably my favourite show, both to do. I didn't do it yesterday, but it's both to do and both to listen to, because it's like, there's nothing more special in Champions League nights, really, as cliched as that all sounds. But whenever you've got those lads in the room talking about it, and you know, lads of different ages as well, the Paddy from the Spine Cop, sort of 17, 18, 19 years old, and then you've got like some Mike Nevin who's sort of seen it all. Nice dynamic in the room, definitely.
Yeah, and building up the excitement as well, and we've got a few more exciting things coming up with the Anfield, haven't we?
Got the end of season show at the end of the season, the night before Wolves. Tickets are available at theanfieldwrap.com/tall live. It's not going to be a sort of live podcast or a live show if you've been to one of our shows. It's going to be Neil and Gibbo. Gibbo's going to be DJing and Neil's going to be reliving big moments from the last, he says 2 seasons. He's actually saying that it's going to start from when Wijnaldum scores against Middlesbrough in the last day of the season. And it's kind of what they did in Kiev if you were in Shevchenko Park that day. But I'm so excited for it. We've got the T Street Band as well. We're going to have DJs. It's going to be a big party. It's not going to be sitting chatting about football for ages. It's going to be a big piss up, and hopefully we'll be celebrating.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone down there, and looking forward to tonight as well. Have you got a prediction for the game?
I think Liverpool are going to win. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. I don't think we're going to be sailing into the second leg as we did last year. But I think, you know, I think that the mood around the fan base at the minute is sort of like these Champions League games are sort of creeping up on us, and we're like, oh yes, we get to enjoy the Champions League. You know, this doesn't. How often does this happen in your Liverpool sporting career that, you know, with a month left, you're massively in a title race, and you've a massive chance of getting into the semi-finals. So I'm going to predict we're all going to enjoy ourselves and have a great night, and Liverpool are going to win 2-0.
I was going to go 2-0 as well. I don't think it will be easy, but this Liverpool team don't need it to be easy, so it's one of them, isn't it? Yeah, nice one.
It's us talking about our app again. We're very excited about it indeed. Very, very excited. Craig, it's the absolute business. It's going to be the place to get all your Anfield app wants and needs from.
I'm so excited about it. I remember my very first meeting when I started at the Anfield app 2 years ago this month actually, and Neil promised me there was going to be an app, and I've had to wait 2 years for it. It's taken 2 years. Oh yeah, we've got an app coming soon. Yeah, 2 years later now we're launching it, and I think it's been something that when we speak to people at live shows, when we speak to people at the match, you know, listeners, subscribers and watchers of our YouTube channel, they always say to us, what about an app? Have you thought about an app? And we're like, we have. It's just so difficult to sort of implement, and there aren't that many, you know, how many fan media businesses, I suppose, have their own app, and now we're going to have one. It's so exciting.
It is really exciting. It'll be the absolute business. We've been working on this video stuff which you've been watching it on YouTube, around the game, second look, preview, post-match pints, now stat show, other bits and pieces as well. We've been working on it for, well, since August, to be honest with you, and it's taken up a lot of time, and I'll be really honest, it's taken up a fair bit of money as well. Equipment's involved, obviously paying for people's time, getting them in. The post-production work's pretty arduous as well, but we've been doing that because we started it in August thinking we'd have something by mid-October-ish. We didn't, and we've hung on right the way through till April because we wanted to keep telling the story of the season for our video viewers. Now is the time where this will be going behind our paywall as part of the app, and that will be happening mid-April, being honest, probably now towards the end of April, but we'll be getting that stuff ready. That stuff will be uploaded every single game, everything we've been doing plus so much more, loads of formats set up for the summer, obviously we including transfers, but we know the bread and butter is the match by match content, and that's the stuff that we've been throwing out now for years and that we love. We think we get right both on audio and on video, so we want you to come and subscribe and feel part of this journey. Continue to do so. Download the app, have a little look at it and work out what payment level is for you. It's 5, 7, 7 and 10, Craig. 5 for existing audio subscribers who just want to have a few fewer shows. We're keeping that as an option for them, but then it is £7 audio, 7 video and 10 for both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think one of the reasons why we've gone for the different pricing tiers is so that there's an option for everyone. So if you decide that maybe the free video is only for you and you don't want to pay for content, you've got Talking Reds for free every day. You've got 2 free podcasts a week, and then you've obviously got the 7, the 7 and the 10, the 10 for all of our content, both video and audio. I think like one of the things that when you speak to people is they don't realise just how much work and time and resource goes into the creation of video. They maybe just think it's setting up a camera and us getting it, speaking to it, but really it's the equipment, it's the booking people for shows, it's the time that it takes to
get to locations, using locations,
upload it to you know, the post production, the editing, and everything around that, and that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this.
But we also want to be more ambitious with the video, so we've been talking about some documentary style stuff that we want to do more of, more stuff out on location, more stuff out and about, more stuff telling the story of the city of Liverpool as well as telling the story of Liverpool Football Club via video. It's something we think we do brilliantly through audio. We want to be able to use Liverpool as a bit of a canvas and cut loose, to be honest with you. So we want you to come with us on that if you can. It'd be absolutely brilliant, and as I say, it's something we're going to grow and develop. And so far what's been just fantastic, to be honest with you, is so many people who watch and listen to the Anfield app, whether they subscribe or not, have been part of the journey. We want you to keep coming on this journey with us. Download the app, go from there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Anfield app from the heart of the city.